Oh my.
Finally, The Rock has come to Bethesda. The Rock says if you're having a good time, give The Rock a hell yeah. Not loud enough, not loud enough. It's a wedding, not a funeral. If you're having a good time, give The Rock a hell yeah. That's better. You know, when The Rock was a little baby, I called myself Baby Rock. Baby Rock knelt beside the bed one night about 3 years old. He had a Super Friends comforter on the bed. Baby Rock puts his hands together. Baby Rock looks to the heavens. And after he says, I want to be a star, he says, Dear Lord, please give me a brother. Well, thankfully, The Rock got his brother. But after 35 years, I got to say this. If I knew that one day I would have to give speeches, I would have to meet new people, and I would have to travel, The Rock would be an only child. So a couple of years ago, The Rock is sitting at home watching wrestling. Well, my brother calls. That's around 8, 9 o'clock at night, and I'm thinking, he needs bail money. I'm going to have to call my mother because she's got the cash. Hey, Henry, I wanted to tell you that I met this girl at work. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to ask her out. Okay. Gets off the phone. Rock thinks to himself, this is going one of two ways. It's either going to work out, or this girl's going to have one hell of a sexual harassment suit. I'm glad it worked out, because as I said last night, if she sued him for sexual harassment and he lost his comic books, we were going to have a problem. So, a couple of months later, Chris calls me again and says to me, hey, Damon's having a party at his house. Damon wanted me to call you to invite you. Hey, that's nice, I'm going to come. Mom's hearing this story for the first time because actually, she doesn't know about this, but she's going to learn now. And Chris says, I'm bringing Ginny with me. This is the girl I'm dating. I said, okay. Chris introduces me to Ginny. After copious amounts of alcohol, Ginny's standing on the deck near, like right on the edge of Damon's pool. The Rock is drunk. The Rock pushes Ginny in the pool. So Ginny comes up out of the water, and I'm thinking to myself, she's either going to splash me, or she's going to pull me in. She comes up, goes to the side, gets a beer, drinks, doesn't do anything to me. The next day I text my brother, you better marry this girl, all because she didn't throw me in the pool. So I stand here today, very happy for Chris and Ginny. You know, Ginny, I've told Chris this many times. He asked me one time, I was saying how much I like you, and you know, he goes, could Ginny ever do anything to make you dislike her? And I said, yeah, she can take your comic books. So far that hasn't happened, and you allow him to continue to buy them. I welcome you to the family. I congratulate the both of you. Chris, you've been the best brother I could ever ask for. A good friend, which I think is more important. I just want to thank and welcome the Jacksons to our family. That's great because now I have 2 little boys to spoil. Don't worry, girls, I'll spoil you too, but that'll be more fun. So I just want to wrap this up. If you smell what The Rock is cooking. And now I want to introduce the fabulous, the talented Rock and Rudner.
Yeah! Look. Brian.
I gotta tell you, folks, there is no way I thought I was going to be following that. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Brian. I'm one of Chris's best men tonight. And I'm also the guy with the pleasure of speaking fourth, so I will try to make this as brief as I can. Every so often, two people meet who are so perfect, it seems as if fate has brought them together. I think you know where I'm going with this one. Chris and I met in August of 1994. We were neighbors in our college dorm, and we quickly became inseparable. Fast friends. It was perfect. Now, admittedly, stars weren't totally aligned in the beginning. I mean, Chris went through a phase where he dyed his hair green. Back when Chris and I still had hair. I mean, we're talking Joker green. Or the Riddler. I forget, that's more Chris's arena. I'm not really sure what that was. So, once he realized that green hair was a problem, he decided it was time to shave it all off. Like, Bic shaved all off. And it was bald. And he walked around campus with a black leather jacket with no shirt on it. And black, thin-rimmed sunglasses. Like, out of natural-born killers. And he thought this was a good look. So in spite of all this, I quickly learned that Chris was one of the most caring, giving, and genuine people I would ever meet in my life. And I think if any of you ask any of the, I don't know, 50 or 60 groomsmen we have here tonight, they'll all tell you the same thing. And what they'll tell you is there's very little that this guy wouldn't do for a friend, without even asking. Quick story. Once, a long time ago, I was in desperate need of a sock. The reasons, I assure you, are not important. And this kid springs to the rescue. Now, he doesn't ask why I don't use one of the two I'm already wearing. He quickly volunteers his own, and the situation resolved itself relatively peacefully. And that's just the guy that Chris is. But seriously for a second, I was putting my thoughts together tonight, and 17 years I've known this guy, and I couldn't think of a single moment when I needed something and he wasn't there for me. And that's a pretty special thing to be able to say that. And, you know, having a friend like Chris who's reliable and caring and giving, really selfless, is a gift for me. That's the way I consider it. But I think what truly makes knowing Chris a gift, what truly makes it so interesting, is that there are so many instances where he's trying to do the right thing, his heart's in the right place, and his head, I guess probably more of his nerves, really just don't seem to cooperate. Let me think. How many years ago was this now? This was about 6 or 7 years, 8 years ago. And he generously offers to write me a reference letter for my application to the bar in New York. You have to show that you're not some serial killer. And so he writes me this letter, and then I go in and I have to have a face-to-face interview with an elder attorney and whatever. So I go in, and I'm sitting, it's this big law office, very impressive, huge conference room, and this guy's sitting there, and he's got all these papers spread in front of him. Old, very stern-looking guy. And all this guy wants to talk about is Chris's letter. And I can't figure out why. And then he shows it to me. I haven't seen it yet. He shows it to me, and there's a big red circle around the word professional, which Chris, of course, had misspelled. Something about 3 or 4 extra F's. I don't really remember what it was. But this guy, this attorney, old, salty guy, he laughed and laughed when I told him that Chris was an editor. He thought it was the most terrible. And so that's sort of what it is. Trying to help, really doing his best. Execution's a bit off. But looking back, he ensured that I breezed through that interview. Because, I mean, the ice was broken at that point. I didn't need any more than that, really. And then me, I wasn't nervous anymore. I'm just thinking, God, I can't wait to tell everybody about this. This is great. This is terrific. But I'll wrap this up. In the last few years, what I've noticed is that Chris's nerves have calmed down somewhat. Somewhat. And I can't help but think that that has everything to do with meeting Ginny. And while I think we probably all know that she does give him anxiety at times, I think that's normal. But more importantly, what she gives him is that general calmness, almost a serenity that you get from being with someone that you truly love and who truly loves you. And I'm very happy for both of you. And so now I'll wrap this up. I'll grab my glass. I'll ask you all to join me and raise your glass with a toast to the new couple. Best of luck to them. We love you both. Cheers.
Cheers.